Yo, what's going on YouTubers, gamers and hobbyists? Welcome to another episode of P&Q, my question and answer series where you get to ask me questions or make comments. Now you can do this one of two ways. Put the comment or question down below in the comment section and I will respond the following week. Unless you put your question or comment after Friday, because I record these on Fridays. Or you can email me at miniwarzone@gmail.com and I'll leave a link in the video description below. Again, if I get it after today, it will go on the following week's episode. So anyway, yeah, I'm recording this on Friday, so there's an obvious elephant in the room regarding the EU referendum, which I'm going to totally ignore. You can go over in that corner over there. Plenty of room. So, I've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 questions altogether. But one of them, I'm going to do these kind of all totally random. Alright? That's what I'm going to do. Yes. So I'm going to randomly start with Scrag Guard. From last week, he says, "Hello Rufus." It's my dog Rufus made a brief appearance on the episode. Sweet answers, mate. Hope the hospital went okay. Yes, it did. I think I'm turning a corner now. Hopefully you can hear it in my voice. It feels a lot stronger and my throat doesn't hurt when I swallow anymore, which is a great thing. I know that's not a big deal for most people, but when you have it wasn't a big deal for me actually until I started taking my MS treatment, which kind of suppressed my immune system, meaning I get a cold, I might as well get, the greatest flu virus ever, and I suffer for weeks anyway. But yes, I'm feeling better. I've still got a bit of a cough and I'm quite congested, but it's gradually on the turn. The tide has turned. That's appropriate. He says, "I like the Stormtrooper pick on the shelf." Oh, you mean... One second. You mean... this one. This was done by my daughter. Christmas, I think. Yeah, Christmas or birthday. It might have been birthday. I can't remember now. Yeah, she's great at artwork and stuff. So I'll just put that one back. She loves doing it. She loves doing it, and I love looking at it. It's great. I've got another one down there of a wolf, and it's really cool. This is okay. Let's go back to the conspiracy theories. My neighbour has been watching a lot on the Earth being flat and the royal family being lizards. Not theories, I believe. But have you argued with anyone about a theory that they believe in and you don't? And what was the theory? Not so much argued, but I have discussed with people the obvious, in my opinion, evidence that there used to be life on Mars. To me, the evidence is overwhelming, especially with some of the clearer pictures you get. It looks to me like there was a great catastrophe on the planet Mars at one time, and whether it was like a nuclear fallout explosion, I don't know, whatever they did, whatever happened on Mars, it blew it to bits. But there's stuff scattered all about there. And if you look hard enough, and you can find it. And it's not always that unobvious. Some of it is blatantly obvious, But think of the thousands upon thousands of pictures that NASA have sent back from the rovers. Of those pictures, thousands upon thousands are being questioned and gone through by people saying there's life on Mars, blah blah blah. But if even just one of those pictures is what it looks like, just one, that's all it takes, that's all it needs, that's all I'm saying. Royal family being lizards, well, a lot of people kind of subscribe to the lizard theory. That there are a kind of alien hybrid of reptilians that live in our society, because they're the only ones that can exist in this kind of reality bubble, as it were. And the other aliens, the actual aliens, kind of exist just outside of our spectrum of light and all that kind of stuff. I really have looked at this a lot. I think you can't say straight away, oh, the royal family or so-and-so or Barack Obama is a lizard or whoever. You can't just say, oh, they're lizards, because that sounds totally crazy. You need the backstory and the way you get there and present your evidence in a logical, concise manner. And then you can think, okay, make your decision. I don't know anything about that really, the whole lizard thing. Regarding the Earth being flat, I don't think the Earth is what we think it is. When I say that, I mean I don't think our reality is exactly what we think it is, given that there is so much, even science says, beyond the spectrum of light that exists that we cannot see. But all I can say is, from my perspective of the Earth being flat, I don't think so. My reasoning for that is, no matter how high you go, you're up a mountain or hill or something, the horizon level always stays the same. So you go higher, it stays the same. Now if the Earth was flat, the higher you went, the lower it would go, wouldn't it? And if the lower you got to the ground, the higher the horizon would be, until you were at dead level, and then it would be the same as you. But I've been up different heights, a lot of heights, quite high, and something. The horizon has always looked the same level to me. So to me, the Earth is round, a sphere. That's just my take on it. This sounds like crazy talk, doesn't it? But yes, so I've discussed with people about Mars. I've never really argued with anyone. I just like delving into them and looking at them. I like to research thoroughly before I come to any conclusion, really. Otherwise, you are as crazy as people will think you are. That's my belief. Always research. So that was Skregard's question. Now I'm going to jump to Spider666, because again he asked me a question through one of his videos, so not on here, but one of his videos, and it was I can't remember the exact wording of your question, but it was to do with what cult classic film is as awesome as Labyrinth, or what do I think? And there's a problem there. There's so many cult classics. For me, the obvious one is Star Wars. Star Wars being a cult classic film. That is a cult classic. Jaws, for me, this is for me. Another one for me is Jaws. I found that a cult classic, and because I read the book long before I watched the film when I was a kid, and that's vastly different to the movie. It's got like mafia connections in it and all sorts, and none of that in the movie. But the movie was a cult classic. Flash Gordon was another one. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Now I put that down because that was the first movie I ever watched in a cinema. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. First movie I ever watched was Star Wars, but I think that was illegally. Someone had got a copy of it on like one of the old cine film things, and they projected it at a local judo club I used to attend like one Christmas. That was the first movie I ever watched. But the first movie I watched in the cinema was 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. To come towards modern day a little more, I would say Predator could be classed as a cult classic. It's a classic Arnie movie. For me, there's probably other or better ones, but I suppose the main one for me would be Star Wars. As for Dropbox, no, I don't use it. I use iCloud. Cloud Drive, being on Apple. I've never had any cause to use that. I suppose it can be done. With regards to Mrs. Mini Warzone, my wife, we're on the 3rd edit of her book now, because I had a discussion about me being a writer last time. I think I make a better editor than I do writer. So I'm editing it we're on the 3rd draft now. She's been making amendments, and Our daughter is also a great proofreader because she can spot the odd typo here and there as well. The sort of words where it looks like what you think it is, but it isn't. You look at it closely and go, oh yeah, it doesn't say resigned, it says resumed or something, I don't know, whatever. You know, that kind of thing. So we're on the third edit of that. See, initially we both started writing stories, and I started writing mine and she started writing hers. We were doing it for ourselves. We were writing a story for ourselves. No other reason. That's the best way to write, I think. Write whatever you do it for yourself. Whether it's writing, going somewhere, working, do it for yourself. So that's yeah. So that was really cool. Regards to publishing, obviously we'll be looking at other editors from the Artists and Writers Handbook. They seem to contain a good list of editors and publishers with which to approach, and failing that we'll publish it ourselves. That's what we'll do. We'll self-publish. Right, so let's jump back now to Victor Quez, who says, good video, mate. If you only can keep one of your armies in your collection, what is the army that you would keep? So, like, by some catastrophe I had to get rid of all my armies bar one, then I would have to keep my Tyranids, because they're not the best army in the world, but they're just, I don't know, they're my favourite. I love the look of them, like monsters. I love monsters. Arrgh. I love monsters. So yeah, Tyranids for me. Idic Beer is next. This is really random, isn't it? Idic Beer says, great vid, Pete, and some good advice there. If you discovered a brand new planet, what would you name it? Well, that would depend upon how hospitable the planet was, whether it was just, or whether it's just a barren, wasted, you know, ball of something that you could never have any life on. If it was something that could be lived upon or be terraformed to live upon, I'll name it Angel something, and then followed by a number. Angel 261 or something like that. That's kind of like a thing with stars, isn't it? They have a cool name, like a name and then a number. So that's what I do. Angel being our saviours for mankind. If it was inhospitable, I don't know. Don't know. Got myself into a hole there. Don't know. We'll assume it was hospitable, shall we? That would be easier. Thanks for your question. Right. Lone Ranger 1984 says, great vid, mate. My question is, which Primarch do you think has the best backstory and why? Another sip of coffee. Well, confession time, I don't know all the stuff about all the Primarchs and all the fluff. So based on what I know, the Primarch for me that has the best backstory would be Lionel Johnson. How he was kind of thrown onto Caliban, and he grew up in the wild as a child and was found by, you know, the Knights of Caliban and got indoctrinated into the Order of Knights, and he obviously grew to be massive in size and stature and intellect, and he quickly became their leader. And then the whole thing about him and Luther, how they were best friends because Luther found him essentially, and how eventually, obviously, during the heresy they fought a tragic battle which left him in like a permanent state of stasis, I suppose, and he's now being kept in a hidden chamber on the rock, which is the last piece of Caliban, because the rest of it got blasted to bits. So Lionel Johnson for me. But I'm sure they're all great. Tattoo for you. Hey buddy. It says awesome favourite maiden song would be Between Trooper and Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. They are great songs, aren't they? The first time I heard either of them was on the World Slavery Tour, because I was too young to go on the World Peace Tour, because Trooper was on Peace of Mind album. But on the World Slavery Tour, yeah, I mean, I was a kid still, but I was young enough to go to these things. And the Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, I was like 13.5 minutes long. It was just brilliant. It's based on a poem by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. He was one of the poets I later in life studied as part of my English literature course. So very, very into that. And the Trooper, I just love that bass line. Who doesn't? Hope you're feeling well by the time next P&Q. I hate it when my friends are ill. Thank you. Yeah, I'm feeling a lot better now. I've still got the sniffles and congestion and all that. A bit of a cough now and again, but it is on the turn. It really is. I can swallow without going feeling like my throat's being cut. And I don't have that lingering feeling of illness. Do you know the one where it's like illness pressing down upon your whole body and it's like, everything aches more than usual? Don't have any of that. I've just got back to my usual MS symptoms, which is cool. Crazy as it sounds. So for the questions, how is the D&D going? Well, we had to sacrifice a D&D session because we decided to play Zombicide instead, and we didn't film it. We was going to, and then I thought, no, just want to enjoy it without the camera in our face. Not that that's a bad thing, but we just so wanted to get on with season 2 of Zombicide, breaking into the prison, which we did. Man, that was hard. Man, that was crazy hard. But it was such good fun. So we're really going to do that. We'll play D&D, and I'm still hoping we're going to play D&D soon. It's all set up, ready to go. I've got my D&D screen, my Dungeon Master's Guide, my Monster Manual, my Player's Handbook. Don't think there's much else I need, because I've got the starter set as well, which has a bit of a campaign in it, which I will hopefully lead into as they progress in levels and stuff. So yeah, still waiting for our first game, but we will get there. Have you ever heard of the spoon theory? It's a really interesting take on being sick. Now this was great, because I'll be honest, I've never heard of that. But I looked it up and I looked into it. Now this is for anyone else that might be interested or not know of it, like I didn't. Sorry you can hear that, that's my dehumidifier just kicked in, because it is very humid here at the moment. This might be of interest to some of my subscribers, because I know some of you suffer from similar afflictions and go through similar problems. The spoon theory, as pointed out by Tattoo for You Richard. So this is the Wikipedia definition. The spoon theory is a disability metaphor used to explain the reduced amount of energy available for activities of daily living and productive tasks that may result from disability or chronic illness. Right, okay. Spoons are an intangible unit of measurement used to track how much energy a person has throughout a given day. Each activity requires a given number of spoons, which will be replaced as the person recharges through rest. A person who runs out of spoons has no choice but to rest until their spoons are replenished. And I think some of you agree we can relate to that. One of the tenets of the spoon theory is that many people with disabilities or chronic illness must carefully plan their daily activities to conserve their spoons. That's not always doable because of the sporadic nature, the unknown. While most people without any disabilities or chronic illnesses don't need to worry about running out. Because healthy people do not feel the impact of spending spoons for mundane tasks such as bathing and getting dressed, they may not realise the amount of energy expended by chronically ill or disabled people just to get through the day. Never has a truer word been spoken. Spoons are widely discussed within autoimmune, disability and other chronic illness communities. The concept of spoons is otherwise considered a neologism. So there's So thank you for that. That was very eye-opening, and I appreciate it. That was very good. So, the other thing I just wanted to mention, particularly for you, Richard, on one of your videos I commented on about, you were talking about proxies, and I said that, was it Reaper Bones model? Stick a couple of extra arms on it, could be a Ravner. Well, this is the size of a Ravner. There. It's got 3 of them. I'm just starting to paint up. There they are. So they're not too big. They've got 4 arms with talons. I just looked at it and thought, oh, that looks like a Ravner. Before you even said anything else, I just thought, oh, Ravner. But yeah, it could be whatever you want it to be, couldn't it, really? But anyway, that's all the questions I had. So this is, I think this is episode 97, so we're 3 away from the Mrs. Mini Warzone episode. So don't forget, any other questions you want to ask her, put them down, I'll put them in her folder and she can answer them for you. And yeah, I'll see you on the next video. Until then, all brushes lead to war. Bye for now.